This is a 2026 Volkswagen Golf GTI and might be one of the best haul hatches for under $40,000 in 2026. So today I'm going to be reviewing it and showing you guys everything that you need to know about this car, from the specs, design to interior and the exterior, and much more, because I'm Xaaron and you're watching Xaaron Reviews. So first thing first I want to talk about is the specs of this car, because, well, this car is actually probably one of the most powerful brand new cars that you could buy in 2026 for under $40,000. And so first is of course the engine, because this car is powered by a 2.0 liter inline 4 that creates 241 horsepower and a 273 pound-feet of torque. And even though those performance specs don't sound that crazy, because let's say a Toyota Sienna creates about 220 horsepower, even though this car doesn't have insanely crazy performance specs, it still has a pretty good 0 to 60 in top speed. I mean, top speed is actually seriously good for this car's size and performance specs. Also, all that power goes through a 7-speed automatic transmission via the front wheels only. And that's one interesting thing about a lot of hot hatches, especially from Europe, is that they really like the front wheel drive setup compared to a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive setup, so that is definitely quite interesting. But anyways, all that power goes to the front wheels only to help this car go from 0 to 60 in 5.5 to 5.7 seconds. And even though it doesn't sound insanely fast, I mean, well, a Volkswagen Golf GTI of the early 2000s had about 7 to 8 seconds 0 to 60, which these days isn't really that fast, but this actually has pretty good performance specs for the horsepower and torque that the engine actually makes. But then you also have a top speed of over 155 miles an hour, and that top speed is actually crazy good for this car, because just to put it into perspective, a brand new Rolls-Royce Ghost actually has a top speed of electronically limited 155 miles an hour, and this car also has an electronically limited top speed of 155 miles an hour. But the Rolls-Royce Ghost makes close to 500 horsepower, and this makes close to 300 horsepower, so that Ghost almost has double the horsepower of this Volkswagen Golf GTI, so that is definitely really interesting. Then we need to talk about the number one most important performance spec for any performance car, because if you don't know what a quarter mile is, it measures how fast a car goes from a stop to the quarter of a mile, and they pretty much put a timer, you start it, and then once the car hits the quarter mile mark, you stop the timer to see how fast the car's quarter mile is. And this car's quarter mile is 14.1 seconds at 101 miles an hour, which is actually also really good. So that means this is one of the fastest hot hatches that you could buy in 2026 currently. But out of pretty much all the other rivals from other car companies, the Volkswagen Golf GTI is one of the most powerful. So now that I've told you guys that, let's talk a little bit about the more everyday specs, I guess you would call it, because the everyday specs of this car, which include the range and the MPG, are actually pretty good. Because first is the range, because this car has over 420 miles of range, which is actually seriously good. I mean, performance-wise, it's really good. Spec-wise, overall, it's also really good, and you have a really good range. Now, I need to tell you guys also the MPG of this car, because this car has exactly, well, 27 miles per gallon combined. You have about 32 miles per gallon highway, and then about 23 miles per gallon city, and combined you have a good 27 miles per gallon. So miles per gallon and range of this car is also seriously good. So now that I've told you guys pretty much everything that you know about this car, performance and everyday spec wise, now all I need to tell you guys is the price of this car, because this car is actually pretty cheap for as good as range and MPG as it has, and also performance specs, because this car starts at $34,000, only $34K, and this is a brand new Volkswagen Golf GTI. So comment down below if you'd get this car for $34,000. Overall, at least performance and everyday spec wise, I'd say it's really good. But now we need to check out the design to interior and the exterior, because that's another huge factor in this car. And so first thing first, we need to talk about the front of this car, and Volkswagen supposedly facelifted the brand new Golf GTI and R-Series cars, but it's really not really present, because, well, the first update that Volkswagen says they made was this. You have sleeker, more aggressive headlights that are supposed to look more futuristic than the older generations of Golf, but really, you can't tell much of a difference between the brand new Golf GTI and a 2023 GTI. It looks like the headlights are like a couple millimeters slimmer, and that's a big facelift, but yeah, you have interesting headlights there. You have your nighttime running lights in there as well, which is also quite nice. And actually, one way to signify the GTI, like one way to make it more distinct, Volkswagen decided to put a nice little red strip across the front of this car, and yeah, it makes it look a little extra sporty, I guess you could say, which of course is a nice little touch. You could hop down to the front of this car, and you have a nice little fake air intake right there, which is interesting. And you actually have a full width LED light bar coming all the way across the front of this car, which is also quite nice. And the second update to the brand new Volkswagen Golf GTI in our series of cars is this. Now you have a more futuristic Volkswagen badge that actually lights up. You can see little LED outlines of the VW logo, and that's another big update for the brand new GTI. But yeah, then you also have nice GTI badging there as well in red, which makes it look more sporty. And then the third update to the brand new GTI is a new front bumper, because this is actually a nice update. You have a lower front bumper. The front bumper on the 2025 and under Volkswagen Golf GTIs we're about to hear, but the new one has a way lower, more aggressive styled front bumper with this little colored lip spoiler here. Then also nice little trim coming across the side here. And if you're wondering how to distinguish the brand new Golf GTI compared to 2023 or 2024 Volkswagen Golf GTI, well, the biggest way to tell is this brand new fog light cluster, because before you just had regular looking fog lights, but now Volkswagen replaced it with fog lights that are kind of the same shape as the grill intakes, and you have 5 of them in this nice little like squished hexagonal design on the front grille. So that's one of the main ways to distinguish the updated Volkswagen Golf GTI from its older predecessor. Then also let's come to this side of the car, because you can also come to the side of this car, and yeah, you have brand new tires as well. These are actually extremely tiny, really small. I believe they're only like 16-inch tires, really small tires, but yeah, nice metal trim on them. You have a nice little Volkswagen badge there, and an interesting bolts. Check out these bolts. These are, I believe, this type of bolt is actually so that people can't like steal your tire. Like a lot of this is actually an option, like a couple $100 option for when you're speccing your Volkswagen Golf. But this is definitely a nice option to have. A lot of car makers these days have this option where you have this special type. They bring you I guess the car comes with a screw that only you have, and it's just like this interesting star-shaped type screw, because regular, at least most car tires have just a regular like hexagonal shaped screws, but these ones are the non-stealable tire screws, which is another nice option. Then also you have red painted brake calipers, which makes it also look more aggressive there. These tires are actually Pirelli P0. So a lot of supercars and hypercars have Pirelli P0s, and you also have a Volkswagen Golf GTI with Pirelli P0s as well. So that is definitely a really nice tire. Knowing that you have a really nice tire is definitely quite nice. Then also you have GTI badging on the side here, and truthfully, when you just look at a side view of this car, it doesn't look that much different than the regular Volkswagen Golf. I mean, they kind of add a GTI badge there and then a slight little lip spoiler down here, but that's pretty much it for the side of this car. It's mainly the interior and the front and back of this car that's updated to make it look more performance oriented. But right before we come to the back of this car, I want to show you guys this, because I just noticed this. Check this out. There's actually like the paint here, they didn't cover it all the way, and it's kind of like lumpy paint here, which is strange. It's coming across all the way the side of the car. I don't know if that they did it on purpose, or if that's just, I don't know, maybe a manufacturing flaw or something, but that is definitely pretty interesting. Then also you have the nice little mirror housings there, with your nice little blinker light coming across the side here, and then a good sized little mirror there. And as you guys can see, this car is actually extremely low. I mean, it's only about to here. I mean, a Bugatti Chiron would be about to here, so it's only probably about 10 inches taller than a Bugatti Chiron, but that still is extremely low, especially for a hot hatch. But yeah, now you come to the side of this car, you have a nice little oil filler cap there, or fuel filler cap, and yeah, once you come to the back of this car, it's definitely the most aggressive part of this car. Like the front and back are definitely the most aggressive, because of one, you have these nice little exhausts here. Well, actually pretty good size. Well, I could probably fit my fist inside those exhausts. They're actually really good size, and they're actually proper pipes. They're not fake little pipes that look extremely big, like a lot of car makers do these days. These are actually proper, good-sized pipes that aren't fake, overly huge pipes. That is definitely another nice feature there. Then you also have this nice trim coming across here as well. That's so that you don't scrape the paint job of the car. That's another nice option to have. You also have GTI badging here, and then a nice Volkswagen logo sticking out there. And actually, I believe, if I'm right, yes, this is your trunk opener. So I guess the trunk is closed right now. We'll open it in a sec, but that is nice that it has a Mercedes style trunk opener on a Volkswagen Golf. But yeah, then also you have nice little rear light setup. These rear lights are also a little thinner and futuristic looking compared to the last generation of Golfs. You have these nice main nighttime lights there. You have some backup lights here, and then some more backup lights here as well. Then you have your nice reflectors here as well, which I also think is quite nice. And one thing that I like about the Volkswagen Golf GTI and pretty much any Golf is that this rear light setup, when you lift up the trunk, the whole light doesn't just come up. So it's nice that, let's say you want to grab something out of your trunk and you pull over on the side of the road at night or something like that, still cars could see the reflection of your lights here instead of the whole light just coming up with the trunk where there would be no reflection, so the cars can't see you as easily. So I definitely think that's a nice feature as well. You also have your nice little stoplight there as well, and then your little antenna there for your radio and stuff like that. And actually, it might look small and not really that like aerodynamically bad, but this is actually extremely bad for aerodynamics. Like, this is horrible for aerodynamics, actually. It looks like a shark fin, and it looks like it should actually help aerodynamics, but it's actually bad for aerodynamics, interestingly enough. And so now that we checked out pretty much all of the really cool exterior of this car, let's open up this trunk and also check out the engine bay of this car. Now let's open the trunk up, and yeah, one interesting thing is that this automatically wants to close, so I feel like you get your fingers stuck in there. You have to move them out carefully. But anyways, now we open up this trunk, and yeah, it's quite spacious actually for a hatchback, which of course is quite nice. You have a little storage bits on both sides there, which is also pretty nice. You also have these little connectors here, maybe to hold down like boxes and stuff like that. And also you have a nice 12-volt charger there. Just kind of get your fingers behind it, but yeah, you have a nice little 12-volt charger there, and you could hang grocery bags and stuff like that on the trunk there. And actually this, you could remove this. So let me show you guys how. You just pull these pieces off if you don't want to have it here, and then just pull it up like that, and you should be able to store it under here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Let's see. Kind of fit it in there.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so it took me a minute to figure it out. I don't know why it's like you have to put it upside down to kind of squeeze it in there, but once you can actually store it in there, it's nice to have it out the way so that your trunk is just nice and open. And actually, another thing that's quite nice is this. You have these little latches. If they were sticking out a little bit more, it'd be just slightly better because it's like not holding it too good, but you just pull it down, you press one of these and then the other one, and it just pops closed. So that is the quite nice trunk of this car. Now, another thing I want to state is this. Check this out. You have a little emergency triangle. You just set it up if, let's say, you want to change your tire or something like that on the side of the road. So that is actually another nice little feature to have. And actually, now, let's try putting these seats down to see how much space there is when you put them all the way down. So let's, should be able to press this, pop that one forward, and then pop this other. That's when that one goes all the way. Let me put the seat down here. You have the seats fully closed, and actually, I wonder how it'd be. Let's try sitting inside of it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little too long for this. I might be able to fit if I lay sideways. If I actually had a sleeping bag, I can actually sleep in this thing. It wouldn't be too bad, but yeah, for a regular adult, you might want to have a table or something right here just to put your extra feet on. But yeah, it's actually quite nice amount of space you have there if you want to put a fridge or something in there. Now, let's close it up and check out the engine bay. So, yeah, pull the latch, pop it open. Oh my God, this is heavy as heck. Yeah, this is literally the heaviest hood I've ever felt on a car. Like, oh no, that's strange. Let's put that in there, and yeah, now we have the extremely heavy hood put up. Now you can see the nice 2.0 liter inline 4 that we have here with the turbocharger, and most of the components are covered by this little piece here. You can see this is the direction the engine, the cylinders are arranged in, so they're pretty much sideways here, so it's just showing where each cylinder head would be if that cover wasn't there, so that is also quite nice. And yeah, you also have your battery there as well. You have your electronic box there, and then that's your window washer spray right there, and also you can see the group and everything like that of the car there. So that is a nice little peek of the engine bay. It's not much to look at because it's not, I mean, a carbon fiber covered multi-million-dollar hypercar, but still, it's relatively nice. Let's close this up. And yeah, this is one thing that's kind of strange. Why is this hood weigh so much? Okay, so now Lou checked out pretty much everything on the exterior of this car, from the trunk, the front or engine bay, and the exterior. Now let's hop inside and start checking that out, because it's definitely going to be quite interesting. Okay, so now let's start checking out the design of the interior of this car. And first thing first, I want to talk about the seats of this car, because it's definitely nice. The GTI and R trim of Volkswagen Golfs get these nice sporty style seats. You have your fabric seats here. Then you also have nice Alcantara, which is actually quite nice, and a really premium feature, I guess you could say, because regularly only supercars and race cars you'll see with Alcantara trim, but this car has nice Alcantara trim, albeit a small amount, on the seats, which I find definitely quite nice. And you have GTI badging in red there, just in case you don't know what car this is. You also have nice, this is called plaid trim. It's a interesting feeling, but it does hold you in place quite nice. Yeah, these seats are definitely, they hold you in place quite nice, sitting like this or this. Yeah, definitely nice sporty style seats there. Also the seat belts, let's test these out. Yeah, they're quite nice. There's a little bit of like scrapey sounds, but overall the seat belts are definitely also quite nice. Now, let's actually also test out how far this car sits back. And actually, interestingly, there's only a setting for how far the car sits back or forth, like electrically, but then the rest, like putting the seat forward or back, check this out. You use this interesting little lever there. I actually like the lever a lot. You have this nice little lever to pull the seat backwards or forwards, which is quite nice. But let's test out how far back these seats go. Still going. Okay, so that is how far back these seats go. It's definitely, yeah, it's definitely quite nice. It still holding in place pretty nice. It's like a sporty racing bed, I guess you'd say. But yeah, so you have a nice little, pretty nice seats there, which I really like because they're definitely sporty oriented. Now, let's talk a little bit about this side door area here, because first, you have interesting fake carbon fiber trim here. Check this out. So, you have fake carbon fiber trim there, interestingly enough, which doesn't even look really like carbon fiber. And yeah, I guess if you don't know what carbon fiber is, it'll look like it. But yeah, fake carbon fiber trim there. You have a nice little door handle here, which, yeah, nice soft materials here, but then, yeah, like more scratchy type plastic there. You also have a nice cup holder there as well, which you could fit, yeah, laying down, it'll hold a cup pretty nice, yeah. Nice little storage area there as well. And yeah, you also have your window switches there as well, and in your door handle. Then also you have your center console here as well, which has nice little AC pieces, and it makes it look like the AC is flowing across the entire front of this car, you see, but it's really just this bit here and this bit here and that bit there. It's not this entire area, but in order to make it look more flowy and natural, they add that. But yeah, so that's also quite nice. You have interesting, a little bit of yellow trim inside of there. That's not light or anything like that. There's just a yellow fabric behind the fake carbon fiber. So yeah, interesting. You also have nice soft dashboard there, which is quite nice. The window view out of this car is also, I'd say, Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good overall, just because this car is so low and slanted. But yeah, good window view. Your A pillar is not extremely big, so it doesn't block a lot of space, which is definitely a plus in any car. And you have this nice little window piece there, which I don't know how effective that would be. But yeah, you also have your speakers here, some speakers there as well, and then you have a nice little visor there with Bentley and Porsche style lights, because Bentley and Porsches and Audis for that matter have a little light up here, and then the main mirror there. And actually, just one thing I gotta say is that Volkswagen actually owns Porsche, Bentley, and Audi, so a lot of parts, not a lot of times, but sometimes they'll use parts from one car and put it in another car just for a price saving. But yeah, that is a nice little feature as well. And yeah, foot room is also quite nice. In order for my feet to completely reach, I have to almost be laying down completely. But yeah, great amount of foot room when the seat is put all the way back. Now, let's talk a little bit about the center console area as well, because, I mean, it's definitely quite nice. You have a low center of console, so it's not taking up too much space. You have engine start stop button there. You have park button. You have the weirdest little transmission I've ever seen, like a stubby little transmission there with reverse, neutral, and drive. Also, shift mode. So if you want to, you could act like this is a little manual transmission and shift it like first gear, second gear, third gear, but I don't know how useful that'd be. You have to use kind of your fingers, but yeah, interesting. Then you also have your park button there, and the AC just came on. I don't know if I said so, got a code word or something, but yeah, the AC just came on as well. Then also have this interesting little storage area there for maybe a meat stick or something like that. You have a little wireless phone charger there as well, which is quite nice, and a two USB-C ports right there as well. Then you come to the center here, and you have a nice little cup holder. You could actually, this doesn't fold away. It looks like it'd be a cup holder, but it's just this little cup holder piece here, and then this little storage area, maybe for a phone or something. The key is also quite nice. Volkswagen key there. Then you have different like sensors and like that. The trunk, lock and unlock buttons there. And this key actually feels pretty premium. Probably the most premium key I've held. That feels more premium than some Mercedes keys I've had. So yeah, that's nice. Then also, this is actually the specific key area right there. So you put the key right there in order for it to be activated. So you just have to leave it right there. So it's a cup holder slash key holder, I guess you could say. Then also another little 12-volt charger there, which is a nice little feature to have, just in case you don't have any of the new USB-C chargers there. And yeah, you also have your nice center console here. You could pop that open, and it's kind of creaky, but yeah, you could pop that open there, and you have a pretty good amount of space in here. Pretty good. And nice little handle there. Let's close it up. But yeah, this armrest is actually almost perfect size, because it's not like this, but your arm kind of just like bends around it naturally, which is another nice little feature there. And let's check out the screen. You have your AI IDA there. You have info and configuration, so you could that configuration at 0%. Pretty much what that means is that we haven't set it up or anything like that, obviously, because that's not my car. But when you buy this car, you could configure it all the way up to 100%, which is like the most personalized you could get. But yeah, now let's go to the touchscreen here and let's test it out. So, I guess it's actually saying where. Oh, that's my current location. But yeah, let's see. This screen is definitely quite nice. Yeah, that's actually a seriously quick screen. Surprisingly quick because it takes a second to load like to there, but the actual maps are seriously quick. You also have radio and radio too. Oh, I guess these are like widgets that you could configure and personalize, but you have interesting pieces there. You have telephone, radio media, you have navigation, vehicle, and actually check that out. Why does that vehicle look like the Volkswagen ID.3 and not a Volkswagen Golf? Okay, so it shows the Volkswagen Golf here, which is nice, but then you have ID.3 on the front. But yeah, you can see tires. You have one message. Oh, so it just says the battery's discharging. You have 20 miles. This is a total distance and distance. You have oil level. You have service, and it shows you the status of the car. You have data like how fast you went, how long you drove for the MPG, and it give you MPG once the car is, I guess, like once you drive it for a while. And well, actually 515 miles of range. Why does Volkswagen claim this car has 420 miles of range when it has 515 miles of range? That's a crazy good amount for this car. That's actually almost 60 more miles of range than Volkswagen claims. Interesting. You also have long term. You have since refuel, and every time it kind of turns the car a little bit. And then you just have regular vehicle. You have exterior lights, and you could see duration of exit lighting, duration of entry lighting, and different settings like that. Also interior lights, and you could see cockpit. So that's driving data, since star. Oh, so that's just like different settings. And you also have exterior lights, and you can see how bright you want your display or instrument panel. So it actually automatically changes that right there. So check that out. That setting there, yeah, it automatically becomes darker and brighter all at the same time, which is a nice little feature to have. You could also change the design. So let's say I want the light design or the dark design. I think the dark design is better, but yeah, so you have the interesting little feature there. You also have driving mode, so you could go into Eco Sport or Custom mode, which is also quite nice. Actually, speaking of, let's drive the car right now. Okay, so now we're driving the Golf GTI, and you could hear nice exhaust sounds. I wonder, is that exhaust or is that like the computer generated engine noise? But I mean, if it is exhaust, this thing sounds definitely seriously nice. Yeah, you can definitely tell the ride quality is stiffer, right? Yeah, it's definitely stiffer than most other cars we reviewed, because this is more like performance-oriented type trim. So you have more stiff suspension. Yeah. What do you think about the steering?
It feels really nice. Really stiff and responsive. Overall, I like it a lot.
The view out of this car also is definitely pretty nice. This is my view right now, exactly. So, yeah, nice view as well. And you can also see like the rev limiter right now. So it shows like the different RPMs and stuff like that. So right now it's at 2,000 RPMs, pretty much idly at 2,000 RPMs because we're at the same speed. But yeah, it's definitely pretty nice. Since the suspension is stiffer, though, you can feel a lot more of the road. Yeah, it definitely accelerates pretty quick. Yeah, it's definitely quite nice. Yeah, I could tell the steering seems to be pretty good, and the acceleration also.
It's actually better than the Mustang Dark Horse that we reviewed and drove. It's way more fun.
I mean, I don't know why that Dark Horse, it felt a little underpowered almost, but yeah, it definitely feels pretty nice. It's considered, I guess you could say, a pocket rocket, because, I mean, it's relatively cheap for a car these days, but then also the acceleration and handling, stuff like that, is pretty nice, because it's like a hardcore version of the Golf. And maybe one day we'll review the Volkswagen Golf R, because if you guys think this is crazy, the Golf R is, yeah, it has almost 100 more horsepower and bigger turbos and everything like that, but it's definitely pretty nice. I like the way the seats hold you in place, also pretty nice. I mean, the headrest and everything is definitely well positioned, and yeah, overall I definitely say this is a nice car. I mean, German cars are always pretty good, and yeah, that nice acceleration noise, definitely quite nice. And yeah, this car is so tiny, but it's definitely like it's so loud and relatively fast, so yeah, it's definitely quite nice. Yeah, and that exhaust sound is actually real exhaust, so it's not anything fake, it's proper exhaust. And yeah, this thing feels quite nice. Is it in paddle shifter mode?
No.
No, okay. Because you can also do paddle shifter mode, I believe, if you go and shift on the transmission. But yeah, paddle. It's also pretty cool that it has paddle shifter mode. I don't know if they're like proper paddles or just like electronic paddles, like the Hyundai Ioniq 5N has. But yeah, it's definitely a nice little car, and mirrors.
Visibility is also really good.
Yeah, that's
You
another
can
thing I
see
like.
throughout the car very well.
Yeah, because you have a thin A pillar, relatively thin B pillar as well, and just overall view out of the cars is definitely pretty good, and good sized windows as well. I'm not a huge fan of when cars the windows are so slanted that like the view out of it is just terrible, but this one I definitely say is quite nice. So now that we checked out this driving experience, let's keep checking out the interior of this car. Okay, so we drove the car. That was quite nice. And also, you have like sound. You have IDA. I guess that's the AI. And yeah, I guess it tells you like oh, so that's personal voice assist. So it's kind of like Siri. But yeah, and actually interesting. You have a Volkswagen ID.3 again there instead of a Volkswagen Golf. Interesting. You also have activation, and then you also have tips there. So that is pretty much the overall setup of the nice little screen this car has. This is pretty much the only other thing you have. You have sound, audio, last destination, radio, media, and then different tips and stuff like that. So that is also quite nice. Now, let's move on to this area because you have southeast. This is the direction we're pointing, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's regulations or something, but I've noticed car mirrors just seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger every time I review a new car. It seems like the mirror's just getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, that's interesting. You also have your little speaker there. You have nice little lights there. You could turn both on at the same time, and yeah, you could also turn them on separately. You just touch the glass, interestingly enough, and it turns on. You just have to tap it lightly, so that is definitely also quite nice. Let's check out, well, pretty much the last part of the front of this interior, which is going to be this area here, which has, of course, everything from your radio. You have your miles per gallon, and also MP8. So the top speed is claimed 180 miles an hour, at least on the speedometer, but you could really reach about 155, right between 150 and 160. So yeah, it's interesting. You have your nice 515 miles of range, 10.5 miles per gallon, 4 miles per hour, and 20 miles. So somebody didn't drive this car for that long, but yeah, you could also see MPH here as well, just in case you don't know the exact speed you're going. You could just look straight to the center there. You also have the MPG here as well, and then your rev limiter. Ooh, this thing could rev up to 8,000 RPM, pretty nice. Then you can also see your battery, you can see park, and stuff like that. Then also you can see that the seat is unbuckled. Now, let's check out this steering wheel here, because this is also quite nice. You have nice leather trim on it, little black Volkswagen badge there, which makes it look pretty sporty. Then you also have this different settings here. And actually, another nice thing about this brand new Golf GTI is this. So the steering wheel used to have in the 2020 to 2025 generation these like digital slider pieces that people didn't like at all. So Volkswagen brought back your regular old buttons, and I'm actually a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of all these like just sliders and screens and stuff they have these days on these cars. I like the good old buttons and stuff like that. Then also you have GTI badging right there as well, which looks quite nice, and then nice red stitching there. And actually, if you look over here, that is actually your setting for your modes, your light modes, how bright it is. You could also what is it called, heat up the front and rear windshields if, let's say, there's ice or something like that. And also you could turn on your brights. And actually there's paddle shifters, little paddle shifters here, which is interesting. Little plastic paddle shifters. These are pretty tiny, but I guess you could go into shift mode. So that actually what that means, I guess, is not manual. It's actually a shift mode there, which is also quite nice. So now we checked out pretty much all of the front seats of this car. Let's hop into the back and see how spacious they really are. Okay, so yeah, this is with the seat all the way back, and it's practically impossible to fit here. You have pretty much zero legroom or knee room. Let's put this seat a little bit forward to see if we could actually fit. Let's do it. And this would pretty much be how comfortable it would be if there's someone about 6 foot tall sitting in front of me. And yeah, now I have pretty good foot room. great knee room, about 7 inches of knee room. You have a nice storage area here and little pockets here as well for, I guess you could put like a phone or a tablet or something like that there, which is also quite nice. You have your door handle, window switches, and then some more handles there, and then also you have your nice little cup holder there. And the view out of these side windows is actually, yeah, it's quite nice. I'd say it's pretty nice. Volkswagen, instead of having the whole window moved, they just decided to have this bit here moved so that this area right here could just be non-moving, so they don't have to make as big as a piece of glass. Then also you have a nice little handle here. You have a little shoe hanger right next to that handle there, which is also another nice feature to have. And then you have these nice back seats here. They're pretty comfortable. The headrests are comfortable. This pieces are comfortable as well. You don't get as much Alcantara. You literally get this much Alcantara. Literally a tiny amount of Alcantara, but still, the back seats definitely feel quite sporty. You have your nice cup holders here as well, which is quite nice, and you could actually fold this down. So you could fold this down if, let's say, you want to put a fishing pole or something like that through the seat. Then instead of having to put the whole seat down, you just put it straight through. But I feel like it'll make it less comfortable for the person sitting there. So let's test it out. And the seat isn't actually half as bad as I thought it'd be. There's a lot more cars with worse seats, but this one, I mean, it isn't the best, but still, it's actually, yeah, quite nice with a nice little comfortable headrest there that you could adjust, and it's actually extremely plushy, so that is also a nice little thing to have. So now, one more thing I need to show you guys is this, because you have your little lights. The reason why they're on is because we opened the doors and got in, so now they're on. But yeah, when you turn them off, you have to touch them a couple times, like I guess right in the center in order to turn them off. But yeah, still a nice little feature to have. So now we checked out pretty much all of this car, from the specs, the exterior, the interior, the engine, and the trunk. Let's hop out and near the end of our video. Okay, so now that we checked out pretty much all of this car that we need to show you guys, now let's near the end of our video. And now I need to rate this car, because I haven't rated it yet, but I definitely say it's a seriously nice car. I mean, overall, the exterior looks pretty nice. The interior, I'm a huge fan of. The screen is quick, the range is definitely really good, and the performance specs are also really good. And overall, I'd say this is a pretty good car for $34,000. So I'd rate this car a good 7.8. 7.8. Good score for this car. So I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe to Xaaron Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.